Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 215th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, in honor of the greatest holiday coming up, Halloween, we are talking about the top 10 favorite horror films. So before we dive into this really fun subject and this conversation, a couple of things to cover. Have you gone to WokeNFree.com to make sure you downloaded the Podbean app to be able to add your comments for the episode? If not, please do so immediately. You don't just want to listen, you got to download the episode, guys. Now, if you can't download additional apps for some reason, make sure that when you go to WokeNFree.com and you go on the listen tab, you can pick the place where you're going to follow and subscribe to the show at. So, for instance, we get tons of support for iTunes, for TuneIn, for Stitcher, for Google Play. Obviously, our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. It's a WokeNFree world, so make sure you do that. Now, also on WokeNFree.com, make sure if you haven't already, click subscribe to follow the show there. And then on social media, you can always find us and holler at us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Yes, all of those places at WokeNFree. And if you have 90 seconds, just 90 seconds, we'd love a review of the show. Go to WokeNFree.com, the listen tab, and make sure you pick your platform of choice where you want to review the show at. Now I'm going to kick it to you.
And then before we start this conversation, we like to share a little bit about ourselves. This week we're asking, would you rather someone hack your bank account or your Facebook account?
What kind of horrible question is that?
Isn't it a very...
That is so, painful.
Deep question.
So painful. So
this is important.
As a person who loves social media, and then I also love my money, and I was a part of that scandal that happened. I don't know if that happened nationally, but I know that I believe in New York, there were several, if not hundreds or thousands. I can't remember what the incident was, but remember I lost $1,300 2 days before Christmas or something.
Yeah, that was the Target issue.
Yeah, that Target.
And it wasn't just a state issue. That was a whole Target issue.
Yeah, okay. So that was not funny. You know, my money is not funny. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so I don't play that game.
Your money specifically is not funny.
Specifically,
but some people have funny money.
Some people do have funny money, but my money is
wow, that's cool.
I know my money's not funny. So.
All right, interesting. That's good to know. You know, I didn't even know that. Learning stuff
Thanks,
already.
Honey. I know your money's not funny either.
Okay then.
Okay then.
I see you.
Correcto. So for me, I guess I would have to, it would be a hit to the heart, but I'd have to take it and hack the social media. But that is not an invitation to anyone or any deceitful behavior. That's why I don't know why you would ask that kind of question.
Well, because people love to do that. They like to hack people's accounts and then pretend they're trying to even worse, they don't pretend to be them. They pretend that they want to give you some money. Just click on this link.
I know.
Because I don't know how many people have sent me these messages like, hey, how's it going? Click this link for me.
Yeah.
And you'll get lots of money. What?
Exactly.
Or they're telling me about this new federal program that gives you money. So that's why people like to do that. But I would let them hack my Facebook account. I don't care because it's just Facebook. It's just, what are you going to do? You have pictures and you're going to try to scam people, but I don't think people are going to fall for the scam. But if you come for the bank account, that's messed up because then my funds will be frozen, right? And I can't use that for a while until I get that on lockdown. Facebook account's I mean, you can just talk to Facebook and get your account back after a while.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have no money lost, but I know some people do tie their bank account to Facebook, so they would be in that situation. They couldn't make a choice between either. They both would be bad choices. And of top 10 bad choices, you gotta think, would that be up there among that? Would it be about Facebook? Or would you instead think about maybe what are your top 10 horror films to kind of ease the pain?
Amazing transition there, Khalil. Great job, Hubs. Very nice.
Exactly.
So for me, my top horror films come down to the following. Number 1, Halloween with a Bang, and the series Absent, Halloween number 3, and the Rob Zombie remake number 2.
Wow. You have very specific.
Yeah,
Halloween 3. I thought that was good.
No, remember
Halloween?
Season
of the Witch.
That's Halloween 3, exactly.
Oh, that was the third one? I didn't know that. Oh, that's the number? Wow, they made that soon. I thought that was like the fourth or fifth.
No, that was the 4, 5, 6 are wonderful.
Oh, okay.
And then we have H2O with Josh Hartnett.
It was that soon, okay.
Season of the Witch, Halloween 3. No, that's a hard pass. And then the Red Rob Zombie remake number 2
understandable.
was hard pass.
Understandable.
Exactly. But love that series. Again, babysitter killer. There's a lot that happens there. We can't give out spoilers. So just know that.
But the best thing is the mask.
The mask, and that he never runs, but yet kills a lot.
Yeah.
So there. Number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street. If you're afraid of what happens to you in your dreams, this series is for you. I really want to give a shout out to the recent remake in 2010. That one was really good. And then number 3.
And I like to point out about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
If you die in your dreams, you die in real life. Like,
okay, well, yeah. I tried to not give spoiler alerts, but there you go.
That's a spoiler?
I don't know. According to you, you're the one who's very specific about that. So.
Oh, I think that's how it was marketed.
Oh, okay.
Like, gotcha. That was on the posters and stuff.
Gotcha.
If he kills you in your sleep, you die. Now, I'm not going to tell about the killer and what... I'm not going to tell how he came to be. All that stuff would be a spoiler. But I think that one thing was how they promoted the movie.
Absolutely. All right. And then number 3, The Exorcist. I'm not necessarily in love with all of the series, like Exorcist number 2 and number 3, but we did like the TV show. And also the first one is just, it's everything. Again, if you're afraid of possession and what that looks like, and if a priest had to interact with you, this is the movie for you.
Some people can't watch it though.
Next, 4, which would be Child's Play. The first one, not necessarily the entire series. If you are a Chucky fan, right, dolls scare you because dolls like Chucky do some different types of things. He was interesting, but then that series went really sideways over the years. And I just have to say number 1, yes, always, but I can't speak on the others. Scream, the series, but really number 1 is the best one. Ever wondered if you could be hurt by people you go to high school with? The movie answers that, right, KJ? He is really into that as well. Number 6 would be Insidious. If, again, you ever wondered if what would happen if you could astro project while you're sleeping, and what would happen with that at your astro form. That movie is all about that, and it's super terrifying. The original and the remake number 1 and 2 are phenomenal. Clowns horrify me, and the clown in it is all sorts of kind of different and scary. So there's that. Number, what is this? We're at 8 now, I think. Saw is, wow. Right? If you were to be punished for your malfeasance and your bad acts in life, by, someone else, observing, what would that punishment look like? What would that torture look like? That is what Saw is all about. And that scared me. Again, I think definitely. Saw has maybe even 8 or something in the series. I'm pointing to number 1, but definitely catch the whole series. Poltergeist. Again, what happens if you cross over into the other type of dimension, land? I don't know how you want to put it.
But really isn't it creepy. A possessed house?
It is. Yep.
When items are possessed.
Yep. It's scary. Scary. Number 1, but definitely watch the entire series. And then, of course, Conjuring, because, wow. Because again, possession really scares me. And, that number 1 was the first one they came out with was incredible. But definitely shout out to the entire series, as well as Annabelle, a doll that was referenced in that film series as well. But that's my top 10.
I like that your top 10 was actually included series and not just individual films.
Oh, because I have to be holistically inclusive.
I love that how you had to expand on top 10. You couldn't even just nail it down to literally 10 films.
Not. It's not my fault that they have series.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So we see how you do. But I'm just going to name only specific films. Like mine are very specific about each film. That's my favorite. So number 1 is definitely Saw for me, because when I first saw that, I was like, wow. I mean, imagine someone going around and trying to punish people for their crimes and saying, if you can escape this trap, then you can live. Like, it's that, to me, that series is crazy. But the first Saw is the one that did it. It's like, that one is crazy. Yep. It's good, and it's got the little puppet in there. It's a nice series. And there's a lot of twists in it, so That's what I love about Saw. It's done excellently. It was great direction, good screenplay. My second one is Scream, because Scream, they just took all the slasher films and combined it into one. It has all the classic elements of the slasher films, and to me, it kind of like reinvented it and defined it again. So Scream is great. Like, that's a crazy film. Again, a lot of plot twist in there. Hellraiser, I don't think that's really about plot twist, but it's about this little box that's like a Rubik's Cube, and when you touch it, it unleashes these demons. So then you got to figure out how to close the box up or the demons will kill you. And they also stick around and kill other people in the vicinity. So it's kind of, the movie was crazy to me because as a young child, seeing these demons that look weird and mess you up badly, it was definitely a scary thing for me.
Absolutely.
And my next one, number 4, is Nightmare on Elm Street. Because that movie, just dying in your dreams is crazy. Because now you got to try to stay awake. Because if you go to sleep, Freddy's coming for you. And there's also like a classic song in that. So that's why I got to list that as number 4. Number 5 is Friday the 13th Part 2. Because Jason was like, I mean, talk about slasher. Like, he was really brutal.
Yeah.
This is just like a brutal horror film where you're scared of the dark because you don't know if he's around the corner trying to come for you. And now this one, It's technically is a horror film, and it's a sci-fi film too, and it's Aliens. And that's the sequel to the first Alien movie, which wasn't really scary, but the second one, excellent movie. Like, it's action too, but it's scary as well, because these creatures, like, the design of them is nuts. And like, I don't have to explain aliens as aliens, right? Number 7.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was going to say also just aesthetically how they looked and stuff was super really
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How
cool.
the design of them, because
it was amazing.
Because I read about how it came about. It's like an interesting thing. The person who actually drew up them and then brought them to life, they're really crazy. The 7th one is Halloween, and of course that's the original number 1. Yeah, that's just because he to me is kind of like. He's a little bit worse than Jason because he doesn't run or anything. Jason will chase you and he can run and he has some speed, but Michael will just appear. He'll just walk and he'll be there. So that's the scary thing about this guy with a mask on. Like, he can get you from anywhere. Exactly. That's amazing.
To this,
And again, another one that I was scared of when I was a child is Puppet Master, because these little puppets that come and they kind of like brutally murder people in it. Yeah. So that one, that's a scary one. I think people should see it. It's very interesting because people do think puppets can come to life. So yeah, Puppet Master's good. 9th is Child's Play, Chucky. Yeah, he's crazy. Just like you were mentioning. And my 10th, I mean, is Final Destination, because you can't escape death. Like, that's so crazy. You try, but you can't. Like, so what happens in the movie is people are supposed to die in like a plane crash, but they escape it, but they don't actually escape it. So that's what's crazy about it. Yep. Death still comes for them, and they actually get you in a similar way that you were supposed to die. Like, it's, the series is kind of funny. I don't know if it's believable, but it's just an interesting take on death. And then I have like runner-ups that I could have made the list, but they didn't. And he likes them too, that they didn't make it.
I know, guys.
He's very happy about it.
Enjoy the natural sound effects of our child.
He's happy.
He's really into it, man.
He's
into the conversation of slice and dice.
He wants to jump in and give his input for none of these movies he's seen.
Exactly.
So Candyman and Insidious, those are my runners-ups. Because Candyman, as a child, we used to try to call upon Candyman. Yeah. And unfortunately, he never came. Or maybe that's fortunate. I don't know. But either way, it didn't work.
Definitely fortunate.
It never worked, but we tried it because it was just crazy. We wanted to test our fears. All right. So yeah, those are mine. And, well, I guess another one, but again, I don't really know if it's a horror film, is The Sixth Sense. I think that's an excellent like film, but is it a horror film? I mean, it's not scary in any way, but it has a twist in it. But okay. I just mentioned that as a runner-up.
Absolutely. So then, out of the top 10 that you mentioned, for both of us, I guess, which would you recommend absolutely, like, top 3 or even top 4 that have to absolutely be watched out of your top 10?
Oh, yeah. Come on, we got to nail it. We can't be like top 4. We can do top 3, though. Okay. The top 3 for me is gonna be Scream. That's so classic. That's great. Okay. Scream number 1 is that film is great. I loved seeing that, and I think that was one of the first movies that I went to see in the theaters multiple times. Like, I liked it so much. Then the next one I'd say is Saw, because Saw, the whole idea, that seems like it could actually happen. So
Jesus.
It's like, hey man, that's crazy. And the next one is Aliens. That to me is a classic one. That really is great. And see, I had to just say a runner-up, but this is not a top 3. Is Silence of the Lambs.
Nice.
Because there's some like crazy scenes in there that you have to experience.
Yes.
And Hannibal Lecter is a beast. You know?
Absolutely.
He's definitely a beast, but those are mine.
Okay, so the top 3 out of my list would definitely be Halloween. I think, as a diehard Michael Myers fan, I mean, for my 35th birthday cake, guys, we had a Michael Myers cake topper. I mean, that's the level of commitment that we have in this household.
Nice.
Literally, like, if I could wake up and wear the mask, I would. It would scare me too much, so I can't. But
that's true.
Love it. So that would definitely be it. Nightmare on Elm Street, because to your point, people need to appreciate sleeping more, especially if the idea of dying in your sleep could mean dying in your life, then you'd really appreciate getting sleep, because all those characters were sleep deprived and it was messed up. It's just it's a jacked up idea.
I know, yeah, they were
it's a
crazy.
jacked up idea, guys. And then of course Exorcist, because possessions may or may not be real, and you should just find out. Like from the film.
They may or may not be real. Okay.
Just careful. Let's see what happens. You know how to interact best with priests.
All right.
So that's my top 3. Now, out of all of the horror films you've seen, especially the ones you've listed for your top 10, what would you say have been the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Lessons I've learned? All right. I learned that you remember these films that you were most scared of as a child, actually. That has a big impression on you. That's why some of these films make my list. I also learned that I've grown out of a lot of my old fears, because I've watched some of these movies and now, I mean, I laugh at most of the horror films now. It's a lot different than when I was younger. Yeah, I'm just laughing it off the whole time, because I just know it's fake. So for me, that's good that's a lesson learned. And then another, that it's actually hard to make a short list of the horror films I like.
Absolutely. It's really hard to narrow this down.
It's a little tough, because there's other ones you're like, well, I like seeing that too. That's a good movie. Another lesson is facing your fears actually makes life easier.
Absolutely.
Because I faced a lot of these horror, like films that I've had, I mean, issues that I've had, like, as a child. I've learned that, all right, it's fake. It's not anything. Like, those shadows aren't a monster, right? There's no monsters under the bed. You gotta just face the fear. Well, you look and then you see it's not there, and then you know it's never gonna be there. That's basically what you do. Just look once. You don't have to look anymore. Right. But I used to do that. I would check as a child. I checked as a child. I'd look under the bed and I was like, oh, they lie. There are no monsters here. Okay. Check my closet. No monsters. Okay. I always knew to do that. Then the last lesson I learned is the more plausible a horror film is, the more impactful it is. Yes. So that's the thing that I like about Scream, because, I mean, it is a plausible thing. Like, people do that. Like, they do go around, like, slashing people up. It's happened. It's not, and it's happened more than once. So, hey, you gotta be careful. You never know.
Absolutely. So my lessons come down to the following. People are scarier than we would like them to believe. Like in Scream, right? The idea that you could be killed by someone you went to school with is crazy, but it happens. I mean, people kill their parents and grandparents, right? Like, so it is horrifying. Walking around with a weapon, to defend yourself may be a great idea, especially in the apocalypse, or, in scenarios where you're facing, extraterrestrial beings. But general living, not so good with other humans, right? That's where we become a problem for each other then. Supernatural talents like astral projection would probably be a lot less cooler, and more scarier than one would expect, probably. And for those who do it, hey, share in the comments if you've ever been able to astral project your spirit or your mind somewhere, because I'd love to talk to someone about that. Also, believing in the supernatural probably will have little effect on whether a supernatural event can take place, because a lot of times, like sometimes in films you watch, especially like Insidious, I think there was a scene where they were like, I don't believe in that, right? And it's like, well, you don't have to believe in something for it to occur, right? Like, or for it to affect someone else. It might not affect you, but, so that's just something to think about. Dolls may or may not be alive, so just always take good care of them.
True.
Next, I would say, it's really important never to let your emotions take over you, to the point where you're going to lose control of yourself or allow other entities to take over you, like in states of possession. So that's a lesson to be learned. I would say run away from clowns. No, they may not, eat you. But,
of course
ultimately, it's just, I don't know, just stay away. Right, KJ?
Stay away from the clowns?
Stay away, I think, for me at least.
So you don't say send in the clowns then?
No.
Don't send in the clowns?
Stay away.
That's such a great song.
And I would say, to be honest, the best lesson, which is like a real lesson, guys, which is just be aware of your surroundings. Like, you tell me that all the time. People and places, like when you're walking and you're unaware of your surroundings, it like actually might cost you your life. Yeah. So that's like in real talk situations. So
that's true.
Just keep that in mind.
That's definitely a truth.
Mm-hmm. Right, KJ?
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Magomadisharapov wants to know who would win in a fight. Freddy, Michael Myers, Jason, or Chucky?
Hands down, Freddy, because Freddy would just kill everyone in their sleep. If any of them slept.
I mean, can he beat Chucky, though? I mean, because I guess Chucky still can die, even though the body's a doll.
Exactly.
But they said there's a soul in there, so if he dies in his sleep. But the funny thing is, I don't know if Chucky sleeps.
I know. Well, of course they didn't write that into the content. But if they slept, then Freddy would win.
Because if Chucky doesn't have to sleep, then he can win. Because Freddy can't do anything to Chucky. Yeah. He'd have to be made, like, I guess, I don't know how that would work. Yeah, that's interesting. How about you? So you saying that Freddy's the winner, though?
Freddy's the winner if they could sleep, and if not, then I would go with my Michael Myers.
Oh, wow, you'd go with Michael versus, you think Michael Myers beat Jason?
Because he can't die either way, too, so that's why.
But neither Michael Myers nor Jason can be
Michael's
killed.
Stronger.
Wow, you would say that. Yep. That's interesting.
He's
Jason's
been lit on
more
fire.
brutal.
He's been exploded. He's crazy.
I mean, they've done some bad stuff to Jason, too.
I know.
They've cut him up pretty good. But you think Michael Myers, if Freddy doesn't win.
I'm ride or die, Michael.
So I think Chucky's going to win.
Creepy.
Yeah, because he's a puppet, and the puppets don't die. That's the thing.
Hey.
Even if his body rotted away, his spirit would go into something else. And I don't know. He'd probably win. But realistically, these guys would fight for eternity's end because they're demons.
True. Exactly.
It's like, let's get it real. They're just,
absolutely.
They're supernatural demons, so they all would just keep fighting. There'd be no winner. Scenario 2. Isambar thinks that horror films are more hurtful to watch than helpful. Is he correct in his thinking, or should he open his mind?
So there are some people who are not fans of watching horror films. And I respect everyone's approach to content and what moves them, what doesn't move them. For me, I was traumatized at a very young age, at the age of 6. And so this is kind of a sadistic part of my personality. And so I would recommend always watching horror films. But am I going to do what was done to me to my own kid here? No, I would not subjugate KJ to watching Michael Myers at the age of 6. That's too traumatic, and it can be more hurtful than helpful in that scenario. But I would say that you should always open your mind to experiencing new content as long as it doesn't hurt you. Exactly, KJ. So that's my thought. I always advocate watch a good scary film, especially in the month of October. Exactly. But if it's too much and if it's going to hurt you, then definitely don't.
Yeah, I think of horror films kind of like roller coasters. It gets that adrenaline pumping. So as long as it doesn't make you have these real crazy nightmares and hallucinations, I don't think it's that bad. I think it gets your heart pumping and stuff. Yep. So let's not say it's hurtful for everybody. It actually depends on the person. So
exactly.
I think he can open his mind up and say, well, it depends. I'm a wimp, so I can't watch horror films.
Hey, don't say that. That's a judgment.
No, I'm just saying, he can say that about himself. Not that it's true, but he's not calling anybody else.
He shouldn't speak so poorly about himself. He should be more highly of himself.
He should be nicer to himself.
He should be nicer to himself.
Oh, okay. He could, yeah. I mean, that's up to him, yeah.
Indeed.
You're right. Indeed. Smart. Scenario 3. Aina wants to know which exorcism movie is the best. Do you think the original Exorcist is the best one?
Oh, hands down. Yeah, the original one is the best because of the writing, the character development, the horror scenes, especially if you get the director's cut one, I think. That one is super, super cool where there's a staircase scene that you just absolutely have to see. So I would definitely go with that one. But I would say also why it's the best is because all other possession type of movies have scenes and have been very much influenced by the original. So thus, what's they say, imitation is the best form of flattery. So if all these other movies keep pulling, even the recent Conjuring one we watched had scenes from The Exorcist.
They had that. They were funny.
They know what's up. That's the best one. What are your thoughts though?
This is interesting because I was thinking, I was thinking the last exorcism would be the best, only because to me that one seemed more realistic. It showed what those exorcism people were doing. They were trying to bamboozle a lot of the country bumpkins. So that's what I liked about it. It had that realism to it. Yeah. But if I actually think hard, there's a good one that gets caught that even you might not think about. Yeah. But Constantine, I think. Technically, that is an exorcism movie. That would be my favorite exorcism movie.
Yes.
Because I love that movie.
With the devil,
I love that movie.
Phenomenal.
So I would give it Constantine. I know it's like probably it's not as scary as like the original Exorcist. But just talking about exorcism movies, that's my fave.
Absolutely. And with that, KJ agrees. We are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 215th episode of WokeNFree. Quite the episode discussing top 10 favorite horror films.
Come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. And make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation. To make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you want to be a guest on the show or share upcoming thoughts on things, definitely hit us up on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com. And when it comes to social media, sponsorships, guys, again, social media, you'll find us at WokenFree on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. But for collaboration sponsorships, same page. Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode. And make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.